Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright, so what we're gonna be doing on this cut is we're doing some shear work on top, just a small little trim, and then we're gonna be doing a low fade. Let's get it. Alright, so I've been telling y'all about a video that I did, that I really tried to record my my shear work with some better angles, and this is the video, guys. So y'all make sure to pay attention. I'm gonna be dropping some bars, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, I saturated the top of this man's head, and I'm gonna start off coming forward with a section down the middle of his head. So as you can see, I'm taking off about 3/4 of an inch or so, and I'm gonna use that guideline coming all the way forward. So every time I bring up a next section of hair, I'm making sure that I have a little bit of the previous section, that way it has that guideline, and I'm using that guideline traveling forward. Alright, so now that I did that, that was my initial guideline. Now what I'm doing is I'm coming the opposite way, but I'm still coming back, and same thing, every section that I come up with, if there's hair longer than that initial guideline that I set in the middle, I'm making sure to cut that off. And I know my sections are a little big. I technically should have did them, a little smaller, but for whatever reason I didn't, and that actually caused me to have to go back and recheck it and do some more, I guess you can say, cross-checking and having to do some more shear work. But that's fine, because there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I still got this hair down to that length, made sure it was all nice and even. So all I'm doing here is I'm just coming more over to this side of the head, and I'm just making sure it's all even. Remember, guys, every section that I pull up is having a little bit of the guideline in that section, so anything that's longer than that guideline, I'm taking off. And then I'm going to be doing the exact same thing to the opposite side. As you can see, I'm combing up a section, and all that hair that you see me cutting, that's longer than that initial guideline that I set in coming forward. And then I'm going to move my way a little bit more over to the left side of his head. And as you can see, I'm not coming straight up. I'm actually following the shape of his scalp. So I'm coming up at a 90-degree angle. So the way his scalp starts to round right there, that's the way that I'm coming up, and I'm trimming everything, making sure it's all even. So it's actually even though if you combed it up, it's gonna follow that same shape of the scalp. So it's gonna be a round shape. I hope that didn't go too far over your heads. So now what I'm going to be doing here, guys, is I'm just cross-checking, taking off everything that's longer than the desired length that we want. And yeah, for the most part, I did pretty good. So as y'all can see, there's nothing that's really too much longer than the other part. So that's me basically doing my shear work. That's how I do most of my shear work 9 times out of 10. I like to come forward first, setting that guideline, and then do the rest of the head. And that's just the way I do it, guys. There's other ways to do it. That's just what works best for me. Alright, so getting into the actual fade work part of this haircut, I'm taking my number 4 guard. I'm coming right up to that ridge area, and I'm floating my clipper out. And we are going to be doing a low fade, so I am dropping it down in the back, and I'm trying not to take off too much of that crown area. A lot of times, guys, we just tend to cut that crown area, and I know sometimes the clients want that because the hair sticks up, but in actuality, we should actually let that grow. That way we can comb it the way it's supposed to be combed. But anyways, as you can see here, guys, this is actually my number 6 guard. I don't use it that much, but I did use it on this haircut just because I felt like I needed a little more help fading in that number 4 to that number 6. Or I'm sorry, fading in that number 4 to the length on top. So now, as y'all can see, I'm taking my trimmers and I'm setting in my initial bald guideline. And this is how I do 99.9% of my low fades. As y'all can see, I left it a little dark in the front. I came up above the ear, and then I'm dropping it down in the back below the occipital bone. And like I said, that is like how I do the majority of my low fades. I just think it looks good. I think it leaves a good finished product. It helps keep the little C cup a little darker. That way I can line that up. So yeah, that's why I do it that way, guys. And what we do to the left side, we gotta do to the right side. So that's what I'm doing here now. Now I'm going over everything I did with that trimmer. I'm going over it with my shaver, getting all that down the skin, keep it as short as possible. That way this haircut lasts a little longer. And in my opinion, I feel like it makes the haircuts look a little better. And y'all know how I do this, guys. The closer I get to that initial bald guideline, I try to relieve some of the pressure from, my hand, pushing onto the scalp, and I also try to flick out slightly. Now I'm going in with my clipper open, and I'm setting in my next guideline. And I'm gonna be coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch or so. And I'm still following that same shape that I created with my initial bald guideline. And then y'all know how I do it, guys. I like to adjust my lever, so I'm setting in my first guideline, and then I'm gonna close my lever 2 notches, and I'm gonna come up halfway into that section, and then I'm gonna close my lever 1 notch, come up right below that, and then close it all the way. And right when I close it all the way, I should be at about that bottom line, attacking that bottom line. That way it helps transition from the bald to this guideline, or to this section. And then you might see me doing some lever play here and there just to detail it slightly, because there may have been some spots that I may have missed, or just may be a little darker due to his density or his head shape. And sometimes we gotta do that, guys. Sometimes we gotta do a little bit of detail work within the section, just because, head shape and density, and then, bones and everything. So sometimes you gotta do a little detail work to make that section look nice and complete. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going in with my number 1 guard. My lever is open. I'm still following that same shape, and I am coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch using a flick out motion. And once this section is set in, I'm gonna try to fade this section out by closing my clipper and attacking the line at the bottom of this section. So the next step is I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, and I'm doing the same exact thing here, guys. I'm coming up another section using a flick out motion, and once this section is set in, following that same shape, I'm gonna try to get rid of that bottom guideline by closing my clipper. And then you may see me adjust my lever here and there, just doing some small detail work and just getting it all down, just making it look the way I want it to look before I move on to the next section. Now I'm taking my number 2 guard, lever open, and I'm setting in another guideline. But for the most part, you probably won't even see this guideline too much, because I am using a flick out motion, but I am following that same shape, and I know about how much I'm coming up. So I'm setting in that next guideline, and then I'm gonna be adjusting my clipper closed and trying to get rid of that bottom guideline. And the reason why I'm using this flick out motion, guys, is I just want to make it easier for me, with my next step. So if I use a flick out motion, it's going to be a little easier for me to take out that line, opposed to if I just push up on the head with my clipper, it'll be a little harder. So here's my number 3 guard, and I'm doing the same thing, starting off with my lever open, coming up another section using a flick out motion. And then I will close my lever to try to get rid of that guideline at the bottom of that section. And for the most part, this will fade in most of this haircut, because y'all know I debulked with a 4 and then a number 6 to tie that into the top. So for the most part, this fade will be, I guess you can kind of say, done, but I will be going back. And y'all know how I do it, guys. I go back and I do my detail work. I basically start to fade down and get it as clean as I possibly can get it before actually moving on. Well, not 100% moving on. I go back down with my guards, I line them up, and then I come back and I detail some more if needed. And here is my number 4 guard. And I'm just being consistent, just retracing my steps, just making sure that I had all that down to that length, and just trying to make it look as clean as I possibly can make it look. Cleaning it up with my number 3. Now my number 2 guard. And y'all know I'm just gonna work my way all the way down, guys. And the only thing different about this, my fade down technique is After my 1 guard, I will be using my 1/16 guard. I didn't use it on the way up. I rarely do. Every once in a while I do, but I didn't do it on this particular haircut. Therefore, I will be using it to try to get rid of that dark spots, or them dark spots at the bottom of this fade. And as y'all can see here, guys, sometimes some lines come out a little easier than others, so sometimes you have to detail a little more than others to make sure the fade comes together. And here I am going in with my 1/16 guard, like I was telling y'all about, and I will be adjusting my lever, you know, a good amount, just trying to get rid of the bottom of this, you know, them little dark areas and dark spots. And there is a faint line that you see right there, and I'm just trying to get rid of that. That way this fade really looks, you know, just really looks good and really comes together. So now what I'm doing is I'm setting in my lineup. You know, I got my absolute hitters from Gamma. You know, these are one of my go-tos for lining. And as you can see, I'm putting them lines in, you know, just making it as sharp as possible. And y'all do me a favor and just admire that fade real quick, you know, appreciate that. Like, I think that's a good fade right there. Obviously, I'm gonna go back and detail it and refine it some more, but I think it's a good fade so far. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And all I'm doing now, guys, is detail work. Like I tell y'all before, guys, you can detail as much as you feel is needed to get your haircut to look as good as you want it to look. And once I did that, you know, since we had a longer length on top, I like to go back in and clean it up with a little bit of my with my blending shears. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm using some shear over comb and my blending shears to get rid of these dark areas, get rid of these dark spots, and really just make this fade come together. So now that side is done, I'm gonna be doing the same exact thing to the opposite side, guys. So we started off with the clipper open, set in our next section, and then we're gonna try to fade that section down. And I really hope y'all appreciating this content, guys. I've really been working. I don't know if y'all have noticed it or not, but I've been dropping a haircut tutorial like every other day. And I got some more in the vault just sitting there. I've been working. Like, I had to go buy me another SD card because I done went through 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? I've been working. I'm just trying to put out a bunch of content for y'all. Like I said, I just really hope y'all appreciating it. And please, 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 if you aren't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to like these videos. It'll really help with the algorithm, and it'll really just help me get noticed a little more, and it'll help these videos grow a little more and get to more people who need to use these videos to get better in barbering. And obviously, y'all know that I put these videos out so y'all can learn also. So I hope y'all taking something away from these videos, and I hope y'all are learning something from any of these videos, or all of these videos actually. But you know, if not, it's cool if you just watch it just to watch it. I appreciate that also, but I really hope y'all taking something away from these videos and learning something.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
So now we're moving on and we're lining up the opposite side of his head, and we're just trying to make this look like a mirror, guys. We want to make sure this line matches the opposite side and is as straight as we can possibly get it. And on this video, I did not show me fading in the back. I should have did it because I know low fades are a little difficult, and sometimes in the back they're a little harder. But you know, I don't like to take too much time on my haircuts, and sometimes when I record the whole haircuts, I feel like, you know, with me having to move the camera and, you know, cut a certain way to not get in the way, I just didn't want to take too much of my client's time. So that's the reason why I did not record the back of this haircut. But nonetheless, I feel that y'all learned something from this video, or I feel that it's a good video, so I hope that y'all learned something from it. And now I'm just doing the same thing that I did to the opposite side, using them blending shears, you know, and that shear over comb technique, just trying to make this fade look as good as I can possibly make it. So now that all that is done, I'm going in with my razor, and all I'm doing is hitting these lines, making these lines as sharp as I can get them. Now I'm just putting some texture powder in his hair. You know, he likes the dry look, so we didn't put no pomade, none of that. We just went with the texture powder just to give him that nice dry finished look. And this is the haircut, guys. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this cut, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Like I said, I got more videos in the vault, and I'm just waiting to release them. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure to hit that little bell notification. That way y'all know when I'm dropping a video. I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Until next time, let's go.